Do you want to give me some level?
But we've been there, done that, and it
Yeah,
didn't.
it's fine.
Good.
That'll do.
Yeah, shut up. Enough of you already.
The Tyre Kickers, classic car chat with Max and Matt.
Hello there and welcome to episode 40 of the Tyre Kickers. And you know what? They say life begins at 40.
But we've been there, done that, and it didn't. However, if you're having a midlife crisis,
We've got the perfect wheels for you. A pretend AC Cobra. We'll ask, is the fake snake the only respectable kit car?
The Tyre Kickers.
also we're looking back at old car adverts and asking, did those cheesy ads ever make you buy a car?
Plus, I've been waiting 50 years to do it, but finally I'm going to suggest we crush the princess. Yes, it's time to flatten the 70s family wedge.
Or celebrate the finest four-door design of the 20th century? Okay, maybe not, but I'll be arguing to get the princess a royal pardon.
It's all gone a bit regal, so I'll tell you what, let's get on with it and say arise, episode 40 of the award-nominated Tyre Kickers.
Finalist at the Independent Podcast Awards, this is the Tyre Kickers.
There's a lot of designing, testing, and trial runs behind every new innovation or new performance record. How do I know? My name's Carroll Shelby, and performance is my business.
You know what, I've always fancied an AC Cobra Max, but equally I don't want to, or let's face it, I can't cough up the £500,000 plus for the Carroll Shelby original. So what about those Cobra kit cars? I know you're not a fan of Cobra kit cars, but every Cobra that we probably see out there is a kit, and you know they look and sound really good. So is the only respectable and acceptable kit car a Cobra car? I mean, Cobra noises, Cobra looks, and Cobra thrills, but on a kit car budget. Have a listen to this and tell me what you think.
I may have mentioned before that I don't really like kit cars. Well, I hate them. All fake and faux and no fur. There's no history, there's no charm, there's no story, there's no originality. Just the nagging thought that there's something lurking underneath, like a Sierra chassis. But is the Cobra the honourable exception? Now, I'm going to try and be positive here. If you have to have one, I'd argue for a close replica of the early models, like this Cobra 289 Evocation by Hawk that's on your screen now.
Yeah, so this is a bit of a climb down for you because kit cars, you know, as you say, you're a bit anti-kit cars. But here's the snob in you. If it says evocation on it, evocation, then this is you like them. So this is why you like this one, isn't it?
Well, I'm struggling with it, to be honest, because I do really like it. You know, it's a look of the Cobra of the original ones where they don't have the massive flared wheel arches. It looks like a proper sports car. And this one is built. I think Hawk used an MGB basis to build them. And this one is built quite nicely. If you look at the details, it is based on a 72, I think it's an MGB. It's a 3.5 litre Rover V8, and it looks pretty good, actually. If you look at the pictures, I'm just scrolling through the pictures now, dark blue Hawk, Cobra, nice looking. If you look at the bonnet, you see, this is a slight problem here because for me, it's got the Rover V8 in it, but they've changed the rocker covers that it says Cobra powered by Ford. And you see, automatically then I'm trying to like it and it's just burst my bubble.
But that's only just sympathetically doing it, isn't it? To make it look nice.
It's
And everybody
faking it,
knows
that.
it's not a Cobra.
It's fake, isn't it?
You would be happy with something that looked a bit uglier in the engine bay, would you?
No, I'd just be happy if it was kind of, you know, a proper Ford engine. If you're going to make an evocation of something, then make it as close to the original as possible. So you're using a Rover V8 and you're putting Ford rocker covers on it. So until that point, actually, I do quite like these Hawks. I've seen them. I think they're pretty good replicas, but it's just any tiny detail can just let it down. And that for me slightly just makes me think, oh, what a shame.
But it says AC on the back. Would you take that off?
Yeah, definitely.
But then what's the point?
Well, the point is it's a nice driving car, isn't it?
Evocation is a posh word for kit, isn't it? It's when the value goes up above like 25 grand, that's when people start talking evocation. Oh, it's an evocation. No, it's not a copy, isn't it? So it's a copy, basically.
Well,
so it is a copy.
But it's a bad copy.
Everybody knows it's a
got
copy.
the right engine.
Well, it's not. It's not got the right engine.
It's got an engine,
because
yeah, but it's not the right one.
it's a bit of fun, isn't it? It's not really trying to be too serious. It's not taking itself too seriously, is it? It looks great.
It does
it's
look
done
great,
to a
yeah.
high standard,
Yep.
and
But
it will be
I'd
fun to
argue
drive.
if it's based on an MGB and it's got the Rover 3.5 litre of the MGB GT V8, you'd have a better time in the MGB because one, it's original, and two, it's not £47,000. That's the other big thing about these kits and various different replicas is they're expensive.
Yeah, but the basis of it is the MGB, but it's just that's the donor car, isn't it? The best kits don't reflect the donor car. That's literally just there because the running gear, the chassis works, and then they build the car on top of it. And then, if it's done well, a kit, you can't tell what the donor car is. I mean, it's a bit like your hair transplant. You can't tell where that hair's come from. It could be off your back, it could be off a horse. We don't know. But
I think I'm really trying to be positive here because I don't like kit cars. And I think of all of the Cobras I've seen on the market, I picked this one this morning and I do quite like it. But just that picture 13 where they've changed the rocker cover to pretend a Rover engine is a Ford engine just kind of ruins it for me. And as soon as it's ruined, I can't look back at it.
maybe not. That's not the car for you then. Well, let's move on. There's loads of different kits actually. If you're going to do a Cobra, maybe you want. I mean, that one's quite subdued, isn't it? Maybe you want the big ones, the spinners on the wheels and those bigger wheel arches and the big noise. I mean, DAX do a lot of the kits. They're one of the best known ones. There's a DAX Tugero that goes to the meets round near me here. It's a light blue one, 5.7 litre V8. Looks great. It's driven by YouTuber Adam C. In fact, he's done a video reviewing it and showing you what it's like to drive.
Seconds. Let's go through this tunnel. Short little tunnel, not long enough for any kind of acceleration, but we'll get some revolutions. Let's do it. Right. Let's knock it into neutral. Why not? Demonic.
I mean, it does sound good, doesn't it? And that's part of the fun of it.
Yeah, it sounds good. And it sounds like it's quite good fun. And maybe for people who are slightly less obsessed about originality, like you, for example, you could probably get away with that. But I still think it's going to bug you after a while. You might like the first week, the first month, but eventually you're going to think, oh, this is not quite right, is it? And other people are going to point that out to you all the time as well.
I don't care about the other people, though, because everybody knows it's a kit. And if it just suits your sort of feel, I mean, this one here, have a look at this one. This is DAX Tugero, 3.5 litre. It's up for about 30 grand. It seems to be 30 grand seems to be where these sorts of cars are. Now, this is in a sort of bluey green metallic. It's a bit more sort of flared wheel arches at the back, and it's got that exhaust that you burn your leg on when you get in and out if you're not careful. This one's probably a little bit pimped for me, but I still like it, and I don't have this issue. I think you're worried about the purists coming up and going, "Oh, it's got the wrong rocker covers." I couldn't care less.
No, that's me. I mean, I'm bothered about it having the wrong rocker covers.
You are that person.
I am that person. But you know what? I'm looking at this then, and it's got low-profile tires. So what is the point of that on a kind of 60s replica? And it's got the dashboard that just immediately gives it away as a kit. Now, okay, if you can just blast around in it and enjoy it and not think about those things, fine. But I just don't know how you could drive that and then think, this is a bit wrong, isn't it? And you'd spot bits of it. Look at those indicator stalks. That is Ford Sierra. Ford Sierra indicator and wiper stalks. You see, automatically, that has just killed it for me.
Yeah, I've got to say, actually, that kills it for me as well a little bit, because why don't they change the switchgear? What is the problem with?
Well, it's cost, isn't it? And they just want to try and do it as quickly as possible because they're spending all their money on huge exhausts and really thin tires, which just doesn't look right. I mean, that picture 23 that I'm looking at now, I can see the Mark I Sierra indicator. So it's dead to me now.
I think to finish that car off, yeah, absolutely. I've got, as you know, a big thing about interiors. I think it's the thing you sit and look at the most as the driver. You don't see how cool the car looks a lot of the time because you're in it. So if you're looking at basically a Ford Sierra windscreen washer wiper stalk, it's not great. I would finish that off. I would
hang
be a
on a
priority.
minute. So you're agreeing with me then?
No, in the original Cobra, that they had the certain stalks. I'd try and find something to match that look. In the engine bay, if you've put a Rover in it, or it's got a Rover in it, and you've prettied up the engine bay to look more sympathetic to the original, I haven't got a problem with that. It's a Rover V8, but when it just makes the engine bay look nice.
So you're trying to pretend it's something else.
You're not pretending.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on from that point because we could talk about rocker covers forever. And remember, we are awards nominated, so that's not going to get us another award, is it?
It might get us out the awards. They do creep up in value though, these Daxters, don't they? Depending on what they're built on. There's this one that you found that's it's built out of a Jag, so that pushes the price up again, doesn't it?
Well, this is out of a Jag XJ40, so they've used an XJ40 and they've used the bits from that. And I think this is slightly better. Remember, I am trying my best to be positive about this. So what's the best thing I can say about this? It's green. And it's got Goodyear Eagle written on the tyres in big white writing. So
I don't like that.
No, neither do I really. But I'm trying to be positive. I quite like this. In a way, it looks quite decent from the outside. It hasn't got those ridiculous flared arches of the one that you liked. But again, I'm flicking through the pictures and it's got the interior, which just lets it down a bit.
Let's have a look at the stalks. Let's get to the stalks. Oh, hold on. What's going on the engine? It doesn't have any offensive rocker covers. I think they're just plain rocker covers. Let's have a look.
Plain rocker covers. It's got Edelbrock carbs, which is right. You can put those on something. So
okay.
I kind of get that. Yeah.
Where's the stalks? Oh, I think it's a bit Sierra-y. Hold on a minute. But you're saying this is Jag, so it must be.
Yeah, but I think I can see the Jag stalks. I mean, it has got the Smith's instruments, which is a bit better, but they're all in the middle, and it just looks a bit wrong again. So for me, I'm driving along down the country road with the wind in my thinning hair, and then thinking, this is a Jag XJ40.
What does it matter? I went to the mate's Lotus Elise then. He was pointing out all the bits that had come from a Morris Marina. That car's still cool.
That's how it came out of the factory. That's the genuine Lotus Elise. What? Okay, they used different bits from different cars, but it's a genuine car.
It got my indicator stalk in it from the Stag.
Did it work?
Yeah, it did. Well, they only work for a certain period of time. But I haven't got a massive problem. I would, as I say, switchgear, I think would bug me. The engine bay, less so. We'll come back to that point. Let's move on from that. This is a bit bulbousy looking one for me. But I think all of these cars would be a great blast. They'd be fun to have. I'm not sure how usable they are. Generally, I think you're probably a bit shaken and stirred once you've been driving this for a while, haven't you? That big engine, throbby engine. It's quite a theme park ride.
Yeah, I mean, basically, you're not going to go on a tour of the countryside. It's a quick blast on a Sunday afternoon. But again, the problem with this one is 40,000. And this is where Cobras really, really fall down for me. They only work really if they're cheap. But when they're cheap, as we've seen, they don't really work. Now, here's my alternative. I've been positive about Cobras, almost. I think if you want American muscle, buy American muscle. So for the same price here's a Chevy Corvette C3 from 1972. T-top chrome wheels, tyres with white writing on, 7.2 litre engine. It's on your screen now.
Oh, what is that? It's like an orange eyesore.
Fantastic.
Oh, that's disgusting. I mean, go to the 60s ones at least. I mean, these are horrible.
No, but this is the same price as that Cobra that we've just shown you. And this is a genuine 71 Chevy Corvette. Now, these Corvettes were so cool. They used to give Corvettes to astronauts that came back from Apollo missions. How cool is that? That's not fake. That's original history. And you can buy a piece of that original history for $39,500. It's a kind of, okay, it's orange, but you're never going to miss it. C3 Corvette, 7.4 litre engine, I should say. How good is that? Look at the interior. I mean, it's just 70s.
No. If that's part of the car meet, I'm walking past that. I'm not bothered with that.
Yeah, but
not interested.
You wouldn't walk past it to go to a fake Cobra.
Yes, I would. Yeah, I would.
God.
It's much more interesting because I go, oh, look, you've got rocker covers.
Oh, no. These have got
by Ford.
Oh, no. I cannot believe this.
I'd rather have one of those Cobra kits than that. That are just 70s American cars just do nothing for me whatsoever. I think it's an ugly car the colour's interesting because it's orange, but it's just
I genuinely despair.
You've said this before. American cars are great in America. They're not so great. They don't look. You take them out of context and put them on British roads. They just don't look that great, especially 70s ones. They look a bit.
But this has got history. It looks a lot better than a fake Cobra. You know, a real car, even if it's left-hand drive and American, looks better than a fake car for me.
Let us know what you think. Do you think there's life in a Cobra, or do you think a kit? It's a kit. Or do you agree with Max? Do you agree with me? Let us know through our socials. We'll put a post up. Here's how to get involved.
You can get in touch with Max and Matt via our socials. We're at The Tyre Kickers UK on Instagram and The Tyre Kickers on Facebook.
Well, you're listening to episode 40. Still to come, the wedge that is the Austin Princess is up on the conveyor belt, ready to be crushed or caressed. But first,
hot news from us. For the second year running, we've been nominated in the lifestyle section for an independent podcast award.
And I was really pleased when that came through. Last year, we were sat in winner's row, weren't we, Max? But despite getting up and down 12 times, I think it was, let other winners get out to the stage, we didn't get our calling, did we? So is it second time lucky? What do you think?
No. I've got to be honest about this. I was listening to all the other entries. One, they're quite good.
Positive thought, the power of positive thought.
One, the other entries are quite good, and that's a problem. And two, the other entries are quite on trend, you should say. I mean, we are not the zeitgeist of now, are we? Because we talk about classic cars, and that's not at the kind of forefront of everybody's concerns.
It's not trendy, is it?
No, it isn't.
It's not Gen Z, is it, really? Very classic cars. I mean, it's a bit of a weird one. We're in the lifestyle category, and there's a real hodgepodge in there. I mean, we're up against 5 others, and there's one about witches. There's one a sort of a post-COVID sociology thinky thing, and there's a podcast about Shrewsbury. It's a bit random. It's obviously very good because it's been shortlisted. But yeah, so we're up against some random ones. And then there's us, sort of, 2 middle-aged blokes banging on about classic cars. I mean, the cars are obviously interesting, but,
we're not.
Are we? I'm not
just
sure.
I mean, it was funny because I did listen to it because we're at the bottom of the kind of list, aren't we?
List,
so there's a list and everybody else is at the top. So I was listening to all the entries and I got to us, and all the other entries are thoughtful, intelligent. They put a lot of effort in, and then we come along saying, "Let's crush the Cavalier." So it is one of those things. I listened to it and it did make me laugh, but I thought, yeah, we ain't going to win.
We're the only car show on the whole awards though list, Max. So that I'm quite chuffed with that because cars generally are quite a niche sort of thing. So to be picked by judges to be on there, and also to be classic cars as well. I mean, we're not hipsters in beanie hats, are we? We're not trendy. We're not Gen Z. So the cars are cool, but your average meet, you will meet people like me and Max.
Yeah.
So the fact that we're there is good. But it's great to be nominated again. We went last year. Well, hopefully we're in the shot. I mean, we've got a 1 in 6 chance of winning. The event's in London next month. I've got us tickets, by the way, Max.
Oh, great. Okay, that's good.
We're on the end of a row, though.
Oh, that's bad.
Is that wise?
No, because we'll just have to get up and down all the time and do that fake congratulations, thinking, oh, great, well done to the people who've won.
Perhaps we should have sat in the middle. I thought that was a bit negative, though, to sit in the middle thinking we're not going to get up. But no, it's like the bloody Mexican wave last year, wasn't it? Getting up and down and up and down. And everybody in our row was winning, and I kind of nudged you, and I said, I think we're in the right row. And then it came to our category, and we had to do that pretend disappointed face thing. Oh, well done. Well done. Yeah,
that slow clap. Yeah, they deserved it. So deserved it.
What else has happened since we last spoke? Well, my Stag didn't start. That's what.
Right.
I went to turn the key, and it was completely dead.
Is this the first failure you've had on the Stag?
Yeah.
Well, you don't sound sure.
Well, no, I was slightly concerned that I might have got the Stag curse. I was thinking, oh, God, here we go. Because there's that first nervous month, isn't there, when you get a new car and you're just trying to work out what's going to go wrong, and then nothing goes wrong, and then it starts playing up.
Okay, so what exactly happened?
Well, it was a bit weird because I started it in a garage. I got it out, and then I sort of spotted something I needed to sort in the garage, so I turned it off, and then I got back in, turned the key, and so there was like a pop sound, and then nothing. Absolutely,
Lucas Electrics.
Dead.
That's what you just heard.
That's what I thought. So literally, no dash lights, nothing. So look, I started troubleshooting. Maybe it's the fuses. It won't pop. Maybe it's the coil. Maybe it's the actual switch going wrong. And I was sort of thinking, oh no, I was trying to find some fuses. I changed it. The fuses all right. I did all that. I went through the whole thing. And I thought, hold on a minute. Are the headlights working? So I switched the headlights weren't working. Battery. And the battery had become, the terminal had become loose.
Oh, right. Okay.
And so when I went to turn it, it shorted, obviously moved the terminal bit, and then just obviously wasn't touching. So I connected that back up, tightened it up, and it's been fine.
Yeah, but that's so satisfying because you fixed a mechanical problem.
Well, it's so satisfying that it's not a complicated thing. That's what it is. So I gave it a run out this morning. It's getting a bit too cold, though, isn't it? And great for me.
You were raved this morning. I looked out of the window and just went, nah, I can't be bothered.
No. Well, I thought that this morning. I mean, there was a sort of a gap before it started raining yet again, but hopefully we'll get some more decent days. But I just think it's kind of, the attraction of getting up early and going out in the car when it's cloudy is not there for me. Is it?
And you know what? On this episode, I'm trying to be positive, but it is a long time until the spring now, isn't it?
Oh no, don't. We have had some good days. I mean, I've been using the car a lot, and the nice thing about the Stag, actually, I will say, and I was saying this to someone this morning, It's not the most wow classic car you're going to see, but it's so usable. I mean, it's a bit like your SL. I've gone further and used it more than I have in my last car.
Do you think you could daily it?
No, God, no.
No?
Well, you could. Compared to my other car, I mean, I would now take the Stag out and drive 40 minutes to go meet someone for lunch, sort of thing. Whereas before, I know you could say, well, you could do that with the other one. Well, you could with a 60s car, but you would arrive with sweat down your back, wouldn't you? And, the sort of smell of fuel and that sort of stuff. Whereas I can use this car a lot more, so I have been doing that. So I went out, I picked my brother up in it and I gave him a go in it. He drove us to lunch.
Will you let him drive?
Yeah, I let him drive. Yeah, he was
okay.
driving it. And he was really enjoying it because it's such an easy car to drive. And
It is,
just,
yeah. It's a lovely car to drive. It's quite addictive, actually. After we drove each other's, I drove off in mine. I thought, I really miss that Stag.
Yeah, it is very addictive because the sound is so rewarding. As you said, you put your foot down, you hear it, don't you? So he was driving it and he was really enjoying it. And we were talking about, the fact that it felt like a good car. And just as we said that, the parcel shelf under the dashboard fell off. And it literally, which gave us both a laugh. The timing, it was like comedy timing. We're going, yeah, actually, it's all right. It's all right, this car. I think it's screwed together quite well. And I don't know if you've looked at those dashboards. The parcel shelf under the dashboard in a Stag is actually made of cardboard. And I think it only had one screw in it. And it just literally just fell off. The timing
Screwed cardboard. That's very BL, isn't it?
It is very BL. But now, otherwise, the car's been great. And apart from the battery playing up, it's been really, really good. It's running really well and just sounding really good. So I'm enjoying that.
I mean, I haven't had because it's been raining for the last, 5 or 6 days now. I've just not had the SL out because, I've got this obsession about putting a car away in the garage wet, which I will just never do. So I haven't been out in it at all. And it's a bit of a problem, this, isn't it? Because you start to think, well, actually, how often can you get it out now in the winter? And classic cars need using. And you can just think, what is the balance? We talked about this before, but what is the balance of getting it out and using it and keeping it indoors away from the bad weather?
Yeah, I mean, I've got this car's been caught in the rain much more than the last one was, and I have been sort of kind of careful to dry it off before I put it back in and that sort of thing. But I need to run this car up over winter, but I just hate getting it dirty. That's really precious, isn't it? But it's mainly laziness because it means I've got to clean it again. But
yeah.
Exactly. But I think unless there's salt on the road, rather, I think I will, keep just running it out once a month. But I think those days, the enjoyment goes for me. I've got to say, once the heat drops, once the temperatures drop and the sun goes. If the sun's out, actually, I'll put the roof down, I'll put the heater on, and I'll drive it. But I think once it starts getting cold and cloudy, it's just it's not as fun. You start noticing how annoying the car is, then, don't you? Rather than actually enjoying the sort of.
What if you have the roof up?
No, just with the cloudy days. I just think you start noticing just how drab the old car is when everything pings, when the sun's pinging off everything, it just looks a bit more showbiz, doesn't it?
So here's a question. Both the Merc and the Triumph Stag came with hardtops. Would you put the hardtop on and use it in the winter?
No, because I don't have it. I
don't
don't have one. No.
Oh, right. Okay.
I wasn't that fussed because I didn't really want one. Because you just store it, trip up over it, and then sell it on.
And then accidentally knock it off and break it.
Exactly, yeah. Would you use your hardtop?
I have put the hardtop on in the winter, and I do quite like it, actually. It's a very different car with a hardtop on, but you are right. You can hear all the things you can't hear with the roof down, and then you're just thinking, what's that squeak? What's that? Is that going to be expensive? So I like the look of it with a hardtop on, actually. It's a really nice, pretty-looking car with a hardtop, but I'm not sure I'd put it on, to be honest, no.
Also, it's a two-handed job, isn't it, getting it on and off?
Yeah, and then once it's on, you've got to leave it on, and then the hood's tucked away, and is the hood going to be all right? So yeah, no, I mean, I've got mine on a stand in the back of the garage, and that's where it's going to stay.
Just looking out the window, it's just started raining.
Brilliant. I can hear the rain against the window here, actually. It's not a good sign, is it?
That garage door staying firmly shut. So classic car stuff is fading into the autumn as the rain comes down a bit, but still some auction action going on, Max.
Absolutely. And as a treat to ourselves, we're meeting up next week at Historics at Ascot Classic Car Auction to do some live tyre kicking. So let's look at some of the lots we can look at. Then in our next episode, we'll look at the prices they fetched. Okay, first up, 1965 Ford Mustang. Now, I'm going to tell you this because we were talking about Cobras earlier. I think as a Cobra alternative, this is great, mainly because it's priced between 14 and 18,000. That's the estimate at the auction. It's a 65 Ford Mustang Coupe. So not the drop top, but you get the hard top, so it's a bit more rigid. It's a bit better when it's cornering. The slight problem with this one is that it's the V6 and not the V8.
I do like these. If I was going to go for a Mustang, I would go for these 60 ones. But I have driven one of these actually, a coupe, and I was a bit disappointed with it. It's very slow. Even the V8 one's very slow. Makes nice noise. It was very slow and very rattly. I wonder what this one's like.
Well, probably slower and rattlier. But, it's cheap and you do get that great Ford look. And as opposed to the fake Cobras, this is a genuine Mustang. And I do think it's such a pretty design.
And very, very usable as well. I mean, it's not. Then the thing about these actually is that for American cars, they're not huge either. So if you've got a British garage, you probably get it in it. But it's very, very usable. There's plenty of space, especially if you're 6-footer, to get in there. And you could go up 4 up to the pub in this. And have a bit of fun. And it's not quite, I mean, I was at this meet this morning, there was a lot of these big 50s cars, and they're just a bit over the top for me, whereas this is it's quite subtle, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite subtle. It's a cheap car. There's loads of parts for Mustangs. You can get them dispatched, and certainly in the UK or from the US, you can get them dispatched really quickly. I think this is a really good buy because it's a cool 60s Ford. Now, we have picked quite a few cars. We'll have to rattle through these. Next up is a 1951 Jaguar XK 120. Now, remember in the summer, I went to a classic car meet and saw a stripped back XK 120, and it's such a good looking car, these Jags. So these are now, I think, probably as cheap as they're going to get. The estimate on this is 67 to 75,000. Be interesting to see what it gets, because the values have been really softer on these. So if it gets over 50, I think it's doing quite well, to be honest. Really nice one.
I mean, this is beautiful.
It is gorgeous. Isn't it?
Gunmetal grey with
Red leather
red
interior.
leather.
Tick.
It looks fantastic with beautiful, lovely, clean wire wheels on it, and the red inside. It's like a claret red, complete inside cockpit. It's red leather bound around the edge. It's got beautiful, lush red carpet. It's got this burr walnut dashboard. It just looks absolutely bang on. And in this gunmetal grey, it just contrasts with it really, really well. This is a beautiful one. It will be interesting to see the values on this, because this is a beautiful restored classic car. And if this does go for lower, the lower end of the estimate, or even 60 or under, then you do know that the prices are softening, because I think this is an exceptional car. I think if you're in the market for this, there will be a couple of people fighting over this. Is this the cover star?
No, I mean, I don't think so. It's just, it's a beautiful XK120. It's a chef's kiss car for me. It's absolutely perfect. I think it's got everything. I would wet myself for one of these cars. I don't have the money, sadly, but I will really be watching that closely, because if that gets, under 60, that's a really cheap car. I don't think it will, but I have got my fingers crossed.
You talk about prices softening. Have a look at this next one, 1967 Alfa Romeo Spider, the Duetta. Now, you're always going on about the boat tail being the car that you want. And this is an estimate of 22 to 28, which seems quite cheap for a Duetta, because they were knocking up at about 40. What's the story with this car, do you think?
Well, it's white, so it's always a bit of a difficult sell for a Duetto, which is white, because everybody wants the red ones. And I think the white ones, they don't look quite as nice. However, it is a Duetto. They are gorgeous cars. They're quite good fun to drive. They're quite heavy cars to drive, actually, surprisingly, because they look so light and nimble, and you get in them, and it's quite an effort to drive one. But what a great car. 1967, white, with 41,000 miles on the, well, let's just pretend the mileage doesn't really matter. But it is a great car, the Duetto, and there's so few of them around, I always think the values are going to be quite strong. But the estimate on this is 22 to 28. Like you said, these used to go for 40 or 50. So if Duettos are down to this level, this is probably the time to buy.
It's going to be an interesting one. There's also a camtail in sale as well, a red camtail, which I kind of prefer. I can't like the interiors of the camtails, but you don't like the camtails. We've been there. Let's move on.
2, a 1972 Triumph TR6. Now, this is one of your picks, actually, which is really interesting because, 1, you've become a bit of a Triumph fanboy at the moment, and 2, this is a really good pick because TR6s are really good cars, and this has got some subtle upgrades on it.
Yeah, it's a really good. You get a sense with a car whether it's had the right sort of things done. This is in a beautiful red, really kind of wow kind of red. It's on mini lights, but then you start looking at the car and it's had some sympathetic things done, and you can tell from the interior it's really, really good quality. I mean, generally they're pretty low rent, the interiors on TR6s, but this one looks really, really good. Sort of burr walnut. It's got MX5 seats in it, which normally I'd go but actually I think it probably makes it a bit more comfortable, but it just looks great. It's up for between 18 and 22. That's the estimate. 1972. But once you read up about it, it's had quite a lot done to it.
Bosch fuel pump, which is the key point, isn't it? Get rid of the Lucas fuel pump, get the Bosch fuel pump on it, and these TR6s are a lot more reliable.
It's little things, actually. You can tell, I spoke about this in the last podcast, that is, when you buy a classic car, you do inherit somebody else's to-do list, and it's quite telling what they have and haven't done, because even though they give you, a bit of jaw and a bit of chat when you buy the car, it's my favorite car, and then you look at what they haven't done, and you know what they have done. This one's got some interesting ones. So the Speedo and the Taco have been refurbished, so they have no needle bounce. That's quite a sort of a good attention to detail. So if you're worrying about, if that bothered you about the car and you got that sorted at expense, then it just shows that actually whoever's owned that car has kind of loved it and done stuff with it. I think overall this looks really, really good. Just look at the engine bay in it. It's really nice, really clean. It says powered by Ford. Oh no, it doesn't.
I was just about to say, look at the engine bay, because all the hoses are new. All the wires have been kind of tacked down so they're in the right place. I think this is a really good car, 18 to 22. I think if you could get that for under 20, that is a bit of a bargain.
What have we got next? Oh, a Healy, a nut and bolt restored Healy. Look at this, Max.
Healy 100. Now, again, we're talking about cars that are getting cheaper. These Healy 100s used to be so expensive. They were the poster child of the classic car movement. Now, this one's estimated between 38 and 45,000. Now, Healy 100s, Healy 3000s, depends what side of the fence you sit on. I'm a Healy 100 person, I think, because I think they look purer. And this one is an absolute beaut. It's in that kind of light blue, which is a very Healy colour. It's really nice.
It depends whether you like windows or not, because these didn't come with any windows. So if it suddenly starts raining, as sometimes it does in Britain, believe it or not, and you want to get the roof on it, it's quite an affair with these, because you actually side windows that you put on. So this is a fair weather car, but I think this looks better. I mean, the 3000 is more usable because it has got a pram roof that you can put up and down, but these are great. They don't drive that amazingly. I've driven one of these and they're quite scuttly, especially if they're on kind of retro tyres. And also they've got no seatbelts in them, most of them.
That is something that bothers me, cars without seatbelts. And that's an XK120 problem, isn't it? And you can have them retrofitted, which I'd probably do. But I think if you just concentrate on the look of it, it is amazing. You're right, they're not great cars to drive, but it's a 50s feel. And, like you said, if it rains, you're in trouble. However, on those days where it's not raining and the scuttle isn't shaking too much, that is a perfect classic car experience.
Go to image number 7 and have a look at the gear stick and tell me what you think.
You mean the 3 gears with overdrive?
Yes. Yeah. It's only got 3 gears, but it's sort of a random arrangement as well, isn't it? First is down and in the middle.
And then second is up to the left, and then third is down to the bottom left. So, I've never driven one of those, to be honest. It does look a little bit complicated, but I still think it's one of those things you just get to learn, isn't it? And I think part of the joy of a classic car is learning about it and getting into the groove. And that's one of the things you'd have to get into the groove with, because it looks like quite a difficult gear change.
Yeah, so this is a 1954 Austin Healey 104. It's estimated between 38 and 45. It's a genuine UK right-hand drive, and it's a fully restored example. It's in blue. It looks gorgeous. Go onto the historic site and have a look at that one.
Next up is a 1967 Citroën ID19 convertible. Now, calm down, because it's not an original. It's obviously a DS that's been converted. And you pointed this out to me. And once I've seen it, I can't unsee it. The kind of fake roof they've put on it looks like somebody's bought a tent and just dumped it on top. It just ruins it immediately, which is a shame, because, a DS convertible is a gorgeous looking car. But on this one, the roof is just all wrong.
It looks like one of those trailer tents from the 70s, doesn't it? It's not good. It's not good
somebody
at all.
Somebody has ram-raided Go Outdoors in their Citroën, and it's ended up with a tent on the roof, which is a shame, because actually a right-hand drive DS is worth quite a lot of money on its own. So it's a shame they've done this kind of conversion. And also it's in silver, and you know what it's like to match bits of silver paint. It's kind of unmatched silver. So I would personally walk past this one, but we need to have a look at it just to satisfy our curiosity.
Yeah, so that's up for between 30 and 40. I wonder if it'll get that money. I'm not quite so sure. What else?
Doubt it.
What else have we got? Oh, one more for you. This, we're talking about values going down, but this one's a bit hot on the reserve, Max. It's a Merc Coupe, 1985, a Merc 123. So it's a 123 Coupe. It's up for between 9 and 12,000. It's in a gold colour. It's got the nice coloured match, hubcaps that I like. It's your typical 123 interior, sort of beige velour. And it's in good nick. 70,000 on the clock. So 9 to 12, though. I think that's too hot on the money. And there's not that many of these around. However, I was looking at these a couple of years ago when the market was really hot. And they're about, 12, 13 grand then.
Yeah, but, as we've talked about with these, there's not many of those around. You just said that. I mean, I think that's the key to the value on this, is there's not many around, and there's certainly not many good ones around. There's a load of rubbish out there, and this one looks all right, actually. The only thing about it, in the details, it says it's a 6-cylinder. Well, the 230CE was a 4-cylinder. So I think it's definitely a 4-cylinder engine. I'm just trying to see from the pictures.
Yeah. Image 5, you can see the engine. It's got four HT leads, so it is a full pot.
There we are.
The interior is really good, actually. I think it's difficult to judge in photos, isn't it, what the exterior is actually like. But in photos, it looks really good. But the interior does look really clean. They can look quite tatty, these. So maybe it's a condition car, although when you get to the engine bay, there's a bit of rust about. So it's maybe sat outside for a little bit. But overall, it looks good. I think it's a very usable classic car, that. Maybe it's had a respray at some point. There's a bit of grot on the boot lid.
The problem with these is it's really difficult to get parts from them. Lots of parts are coupe specific and aren't that many parts around. So again, it's the find another for this price, isn't it? Because if you restore them, I mean, you're going to be spending 4 or 5 times the value of it. So a good one, if you can get it, I think that might be worth it.
We're going for a little field trip in the week. Whose turn is it to pay for lunch? Is it mine or is it yours?
I think it might be mine. So I'm on a diet and so are you.
So, episode 40 of the Tyre Kickers, and we'll talk old car adverts shortly and ask if any were really good enough to get you to part with those old white fivers.
But first, lots of you have been in touch since our last show. We talked about flipping classics overnight for large markups and whether that was morally dodgy.
Well, new listener Quincy Fitzwater agreed with Max. He says people who just buy classics and relist them straight away remind him of ticket scalpers. He says they distort the market for genuine enthusiasts and collectors, which was what your point. Thanks for that, Quincy, and as well as your comments about the show. Really appreciate it.
Editor 1974 on Spotify says he says some of these overnight flippers are online only, so they don't even have the overheads of a normal dealer. His point is that it's a bit cheeky.
Benjamin Maltby picked up on our Automobilia chat and you having that old grille from a Wolseley Hornet. He says his first car was a Hornet. He said even the grille was rusty. He also asks why, when we talk about V8 so much and wanting a V8, we never really mention the Chimera. He had one for 8 years and it never let him down, he said. The hood goes up in seconds and it's properly weatherproof. He says prices have come back down to earth and they sound great. Perhaps we should look at one of those.
Yeah, good point. I mean, I've kind of got a bit of a blind spot about TVRs because I've never owned one, but I think, that's a good chance to look at them. Mark Palmer on Facebook also has some thoughts on Automobilia too. Let's be honest here, he says, most of it is just old junk gathering dust, but it does become cool over time. I mean, thank God some of us save stuff like this. And then he sent us a couple of old ads he'd kept, one for a Fiat Tempra Estate. Never heard of the Fiat Tempra, have you?
No, it's pretty ugly and forgettable. Another one was for the Rover Metro.
Pretty ugly and forgettable.
Exactly that, yeah. Just two ugly and forgettable things. Talking about V8s as we were, lots of chat following our SL versus Stag road test episode about my V8 versus your only 6-cylinder slow coach.
It's still technically a faster car than the Stag, though, as we proved.
And our quest to find out which was best. This is Alan74, says both cars look great, but come on, it's the Stag any day and every day.
Mr. M. Ford, though, reckons it has to be the SL. He says the Stag's woofle does forgive a lot of its shortcomings. A V8 R107 probably is the Goldilocks car just right.
Yeah, I agree with that. Ian, a.k.a. Corb 2000, also enjoyed the special. He says, in my opinion, the Stag has more character than the SL, not just because of the V8, but also because of its idiosyncrasies and quirks. He said the SL is competent and complete, but maybe it comes across as a bit soulless.
Yeah, you see, the problem with competent and complete is that that's seen as a bad thing, unless you're standing on the hard shoulder next to your Stag in the rain, and then competent and complete looks quite nice. Tony and Ruth Richards on Facebook reckon that for ride handling comfort and performance, the Stag is the way ahead. But when it comes to the hood and interior, they say the old man's Merc, thank you, Tony and Ruth, wins the day.
Do you know any old men who've got a Merc? Oh, yeah, we do. And Darren Pendleton and lots more of you simply got in touch to say what a great episode it was and that we should do some more. Maybe we should do some more, Max, and maybe we should get some listeners' cars together and A/B them, perhaps.
Or do you think listeners would let us loose in their cars? I'd be surprised.
Yeah, good point, yeah. Another new listener, John, got in touch from France where he says he's been binging the episodes while cycling and gardening. Welcome along, John. He says, we keep mentioning cars he's either owned, he's driven, or he's lusted after. And he sent us a nice shot of his Mercedes R129 SL280, which he brought from the UK with him when he moved. He said, so far, it's not failed a single British or French MOT in 10 years. Which is pretty good
Fantastic.
going.
That's your SL for you.
It is. It's working well for him, and I think it is a reliable car, those 129s, aren't they? But thank you for the kind words, John, about the podcast, and it's great to have you along. And just one more from me, Max. Hello to Chicks and his red Triumph Stag, who I met at the Alton car meet a few weeks ago. There was quite a few stags there, actually. I must take my screwdriver along to get some parts.
What, screw them back together again properly?
Yeah, not actually to remove off the cars, just to tighten them up. Just do everybody a favour. Oh, your parcel shelf's a bit loose.
Now it's time for Crush or Caress.
Episode 40, The Tyre Kickers. Time now for a return of our Crush or Caress feature. Do we send a car to the scrapper or get out the T-Cut and give it a good going over? This time, it's Matt's turn.
Oh, yes, it is. 50 years ago, one of the worst cars to have ever emerged from the British motor industry was launched. Yes, the Austin Princess. And laughingly, the ads at the time made out that it was the car to make your neighbours jealous.
What do you get to the gallon? Not too bad. You know, average. How's the Princess?
The Princess has a bigger than average boot. Room in the back for a bigger than average family. And there's nothing average about the 1.7 and 2-litre overhead cam engines, or the aerodynamic shape.
Haven't they got one of those at number 19?
From £3,781. Not the car for Mr. Average.
I love the fact that, it was supposed to make your neighbours impressed. But I suppose it did in those days because it was new. I suppose what you could say about it.
I think we're getting the vibe that Matt wants to crush it. But I think it's time to celebrate one of the most daring and forward-looking family car designs of the 20th century. Spacious, distinctive, smooth riding. It took the family car fight to the Cortina and lost.
Well, exactly. And the reason? It was so bad, it was pulled off the production lines early on to fix massive engineering problems, and it just wasn't a Cortina. Now, I know we're divided on this, though, as we were when we looked around that one that was up for auction earlier this year back at the NEC in Birmingham. It's nearly lunchtime, and look, we found something that looks like a wedge of cheese. Oh, yuck.
Princess 2200 HL, not the HLS. What's it guided for? You got the,
Let's have a look on the windscreen here, coming around here. It's guided for 8 to 10. 8 to 10?
because it's a classic wedge. It's the 2.2 with 60,000 miles.
Do you get another car with it for 8 to 10?
You get a great piece of Harris Mann design. I think these are a really good buy, and they are. This one's a little bit expensive.
You wouldn't drive that.
Yes, you would.
You
It's a
would
great
not
drive.
drive.
I would drive this.
It is ugly.
Absolutely. It's not ugly. It's a fantastic 70s design.
It was ugly in the 70s when it came out. It's even uglier now. I've still got PTSD actually being near it.
Oh, for God's sake. Honestly, I've got a real problem with the Princess because you hate it just for no reason whatsoever. And actually, when you look at the Princess, I mean, I think, first of all, here, you're wrong. And let's just take this as the basis of this argument. But, however, I do see where you're coming from. Like a maths exam, you are getting some marks for your working out here. But you're wrong, because the Princess was it was an avant-garde design. Everything else around the Princess looked boring. Square boxy Cortinas, square boxy Cavaliers. The Princess was a wedge. Secondly, it was spacious. And this is the thing about the Princess. I remember as a kid, we had one. The car before we had was a Mini Clubman Estate for the four of us. And then in 1977, along came a Princess. And it was like going from economy to first class. You sat in the back of the Princess. It was velour. It was spacious. It was light. It felt modern. It felt new in 1970s. And okay, it wasn't put together particularly well, but it was a really bold design. And if it had been put together with Volkswagen type quality, it would be a winning car design and people would like it now. So just to have a go at it because it was put together badly is not quite really fair.
No, I'm having a go at it because I've got two eyes in my head. And when I open my eyes and look at it, it's horrendous. It was horrendous at the time. I remember being a kid and riding in one and thinking, this is rubbish. This looks awful. It's ugly. It's got a horrible vinyl roof. It was just yuck. I mean, my folks had the Citroen GS. We've talked about that before. And that was a much more interesting car than the Princess. The Princess was just like I don't know, it was like a dad dancing at a wedding. It's just naff. The whole thing was naff. It was trying to be cool and it wasn't cool. I think of it in the same breath as an Allegro. Frumpy, ugly, bleh.
No. I think if you look at other family cars, the Princess was really different. It looked different on the road. It was a stylish look to it. And BL Designs at that time were really doing something different. They were pushing the boundaries of it. And actually, the wedge design in the 70s was what it's all about. Virtually every manufacturer had some kind of wedge. Ferrari 308 GT4s, Lamborghini Countachs, they were all wedges, and that was just following the design language of the time. Okay, the problem was that it had pretty rubbish engines, it was 4-speed, and it did handle quite well because it had that hydrogas suspension. But it was just let down by bits. But actually, if those bits had been right, this would have been a winning design.
It's the design is probably the biggest problem for me, to be honest, because I just think the design is trying to be cool, but it's not pulling it off. And then all the component bits just, felt 70s British Leyland cheap. You look at it, what it was up against.
If you want 70s British Leyland cheap, then go and sit in your Stag in the garage. That is 70s British Leyland cheap. That's the same as the Princess. You can't criticise it and then go and buy a Stag.
Maybe it's just the design I don't like. I mean, no, I don't know. So the quality is not there. Well,
True.
That's consistent.
Fact.
You look at it, it was up against like those Volvo Estates, it was up against Granadas, it was up against Audis, it was up against like Alfa Romeos. Those were all cool cars. The Citroens at the time were cool cars. I mean, its primary rival was the Cortina, the Granada, the entry-level Granadas, and the Citroen CX. I'd have rather had a Citroen CX.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at the Fords, the Fords were boxy styling, and they were pretty bland, boxy styling. I mean, the problem with the Fords is they worked, and the Princess didn't. So that was the core problem with the Princess sales, because it didn't sell that well. Actually, because it didn't sell that well, it became quite cheap. So it was quite a bargain at the time. But I think if it had worked, people would now be looking back at that design thinking that is something. That was a bookmark of classic car design in the 1970s. It's just because it was let down by bad engines and certainly bad production because it fell apart. Otherwise, apart from that, that is a good car.
So why don't you see many of them about? It's not revered, is it, as a car?
No, because I think it had a bad reputation, didn't it? Because it had very bad build quality. But actually, by the time you got to the Princess 2, which I think was like 1978, it had different engines. The reliability was a lot better. The interior was still that kind of spacious, light, bright Princess feel. I think the Princess 2 was a much, much better car. Now, I think if that Princess 2 had been the original car, Princesses would be a lot better remembered. And funnily enough, I have one on your screen now. This is a 1981 red Princess 2. Now, it's the 1.7 HL, so it's the basic spec. And okay, if you look at the velour, it's a bit rumpled and it's a bit tired. But actually, the interior is one of the winning parts of the Princess because it's so spacious. It's big. It was a great car to be in the 1970s, particularly if you come from a mini Clubman estate.
Yeah, but it suffered at the time from poor marketing. It was supposed to be luxury on a budget. It might have been spacious, but the whole everything you touched just looked cheap. I mean, to take your point on the fact that it didn't get a chance, I mean, that unfortunately is the story of a lot of British cars, isn't it? They were botched at launch, and then by that time the ship had sailed. It may have got refined. For me, the design is one of my big problems with it, and the second is the cheapness of it. Everything about that car feels cheap. The one that we looked at the NEC, everything you touch and you feel and you sit in and you see looks nasty, and that's my problem with the Princess. If it was such a great car, you would see them at car meets. People don't like them. It was almost like a utility car, and as soon as the time had moved on, they got crushed. Well, I want to put another one in a crusher today.
I'm going to give you a win here because I'm going to let you crush something. I'm not going to let you crush the Princess or the Princess 2. What you can do is crush the Austin Ambassador, which came after it, which used the grille and the front lights from the Morris Ital. So you can crush that, but please leave the Princesses to me in my childhood.
I think they're best as a memory, to be honest, Princesses. I mean, Ambassador was worse, you're right. Morris Ital was worse. But I think, these are the best left in the 70s, these cars. I mean, yes, they were wow. I mean, it's hilarious that the advertising was, oh, you're going to impress the neighbour, because if you pulled up in one of these now, you just would impress nobody apart from you.
I'd love it. I wish, please pull up next to me in the Princess.
No, I just think the execution, the design, the execution of the whole thing was just rubbish. It was trying to be cool, but as I say, it's the car equivalent of your dad or an uncle dancing at a wedding. It just makes me cringe. So
look at the positives. Look at the positives.
Well, there are no positives.
There are positives. There's a spacious interior. The interior felt great. There's the hydrogas suspension.
You want to get out of that
suspension
interior.
made it a really nice handling car. It rode beautifully. And also there's the design. You don't like it, but that's just subjective. I think a 70s wedge design is quite cool. I will give you all the points you've made. Some of them valid, some of them not. But let's just leave the princess to sleep quietly, because it is a 70s relic, but it's an interesting part of the 1970s story. The ambassador, yuck, crush it.
Think they're right or think they're wrong? Shoot us a note on our socials and let us know. We're at the Tyre Kickers UK on Insta and the Tyre Kickers on Facebook.
Now, Matthew, here's a question. Have you ever bought a car because of a TV advert?
I don't think I have, but I probably wanted one.
Now, these days, manufacturers just drown the internet with free cars for influencers to test. But back when millions of people watched ITV, adverts were a massive part of selling a car.
As solid as a rock, as reliable as time, as comfortable as your favorite armchair. In 1982, Ford Cortina, more than ever, a car above comparison.
Yeah, that 82 Cortina advert there is just making you want it, isn't it? The car adverts were expensive. They were sort of made to make you desire the car. A lot were made with feature film quality and huge, great budgets. I mean, do you remember the Renault one, Nicole Papa, with the Renault Clio, and then Paula Hamilton sort of dumping her pearls but not the GTI keys, or that Honda Cog advert? I think it was like really, really expensive, wasn't it?
I mean, I think it was said to be the most expensive car advert of all time, but I'm not sure whether that's true. That was the one where all the different rolling parts rolled into each other at the end and made a Honda Accord estate. So maybe the moving parts are slightly better than the sum of them, but I think it was a great advert.
Isn't it nice when things just work?
It did show you and made the point very, very well that Hondas were well put together. We've been talking about cars that weren't that well put together. So, yeah, British Leyland had some memorable ads, didn't they?
Yeah, as a BL fan, surprise, surprise, I used to love the two Ronnies advertising Allegros and Marinas. Do you remember that?
The Allegro, very economical, shown by AA's Drive magazine to be one of the cheapest cars to run on four wheels.
It would need to be, wouldn't it, with petrol for 5 and a tenner a gallon?
You have been away a long time, sir. Do you like it inside?
Didn't see I've been inside, you know?
Yeah, that was very of a time, that those sort of adverts, those sort of skitty sketch shows. There was a Stag one where it was a very Confessions of a Window Cleaner thing, where the wife gets caught with a bloke in bed and the husband's come home and then he chases them to the BL dealership.
I'm home, Sugar Plum!
Quick, the window!
I want a test drive in a quick car. Of course, sir. Now that model, sir, is the Triumph Stag. The gentleman in the Stag seems to know you, sir.
And as fashions moved on into sort of the 80s, then the sort of trends moved on as well, didn't they? Do you remember the ones for the Metro?
Good morning, Mr. Mansell, sir.
Yeah, the Metro adverts were really expensive, because let me list the cast list on this. Eric Idle, Murray Walker, and former Formula One champ Nigel Mansell.
No doubt you've come to see the new Rover Fastback.
Metro, actually.
The Metro, of course.
A true driver's car. Handy around town?
Absolutely, Nige. Words right out of my mouth.
All those people involved in flogging a Metro.
I'm going to play this music, Max, as we talk. It's an advert that was just music. It's from the late 70s, and it really had an impact on me. Built by robots, Fiat Strada. Do you remember that ad?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Cars weren't built by robots. They were generally built by grumpy men in donkey jackets with sideburns, weren't they, up until that point? And this was like space age, the fact that I think it was the first car that was actually built completely, on an automated line, wasn't it, Fiat Strada? I mean, it was built by robots and then fell apart on its own.
It didn't make it any good, did it? The robots are obviously having a bad week on that one, but yeah.
But that was quite, I remember that, and that really stuck in my brain as well. And you mentioned that VW squeaky earring ad.
Oh, yeah, that was great, wasn't it?
Inside a Golf is a passenger's earring.
That was really funny when he was driving along trying to find that squeak. And we all do that kind of thing, isn't it? You hear a noise and you're looking around and you're pressing and you're pushing and you're thinking, where's that coming from? And at the end, he got a mechanic to come in and oil his passenger's earring, because that was the thing that was making the squeak. That was classic VW advertising. Really good sense of humour, those VW ads.
Very, very clever as well, because it got the point across really, really well. So I think that helped sell a lot of Volkswagens, didn't it? Because in the early 90s onwards, they then had this really, really stellar reputation through advertising of being really, really solid cars, and people were prepared to pay a bit more money for them. I think I bought a Volkswagen actually on the basis of those adverts. I bought a Volkswagen Polo new on the basis of the concept that the car was really, really well screwed together. It wasn't going to be squeaky. It was worth paying the extra money. And I think it was, cars were quite expensive. You didn't have finance and stuff back in the 80s and 90s. You had to put your money down But I think the ad made a big, big difference. They weren't all flash, though, were they? I mean, some were on a lower budget. They were listing a lot of mundane standard items. And there's this one here for a Vauxhall Shove-It.
These are the new 1983 Vauxhall Chevettes, a 1300 engine, a smart saloon with a real boot, reclining seats with cloth trim, plus a push-button radio, quartz clock.
So ads like that, Max, were very mundane and boring, weren't they? You know, it's got wind-up windows, it's got 1300 engine. But obviously, for local dealers, and those sort of ads, you don't see them anymore, do you? I mean, it used to be on TV and radio all the time, didn't they, for the local car dealers? This is another one I found. Have a listen to this one.
DC Cook, your new Renault dealer at Canclo Road, Rotherham, bring you 0% finance over 3 years on the fabulous Renault 5. Only £19.99 a week. Yes, only £19.99 a week.
Looking for a car?
Fantastic. I can't see Paula Hamilton getting out of one of those at $19.99 a week.
$19.99 though for a Renault 5. I mean, well, that gets you fish and chips in a pub now, doesn't it? You could be driving a Renault 5.
You can see, though, why VW were desperate to go up market, because those adverts really do set the tone of the car, don't they? I mean, if a cheap voiceover and a cheap jingle is on a Renault 5, you're just going to think cheap. You're going to associate it with cheap things. And that's why VW was so clever in moving what is a bog standard car, you know, a VW Golf. They moved it up market with those adverts. And I think that's part of the key of the advertising, is they managed to redefine the car just through their TV adverts.
What do we think of modern car adverts? I can't really remember a memorable one in the last few years.
I mean, they're all very speeding through a desert saying professional driver closed course, you know, warning you off having any fun. If you're a manufacturer, you give your car to an influencer and have a 20-minute YouTube video made about it. I think 30-second car adverts, they're pretty dead, aren't they?
It's a shame, really. I think the days of the clever, witty, funny car advertising industry has sort of gone, as you say. It's become more sort of YouTube based and, you know, get your influencers to make shorts about it. Honestly, I can't remember in the last few years a memorable car print ad or a outdoor billboard ad or a TV ad or a radio ad that made me go, oh, that's clever.
In those days, we used to be proud of our cars. You know, a car was a status symbol and a car was something to aspire to, and you could impress the neighbours and turning up with a car. And there was that kind of pride around buying a car. Now there isn't that kind of pride, isn't it? Because it's more of just a piece of transport to get from A to B, and we've got to be slightly embarrassed about the emissions and big engines are bad. So the kind of relationship that we've got with cars has changed. Therefore, advertising has followed us and changed as well. Episode 40 of the Tyre Kickers is over. That's it for now. Next episode, we'll be thumbing through the results of that historics auction and finding out what took a hammering.
Plus, we'll be asking, what's your first car memory? How old were you when you realised that cars would turn out to be a lifelong obsession? And the cut price XK120. We think MGA values have never been so low. So is it time to bend over backwards and snap one up? The bending over backwards, that's just getting into one. Oh yeah, my back. So that's all coming next time. We hope you've enjoyed episode number 40. If not, remember, it was sold as seen, so no warranty. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Tyre Kickers. If you've enjoyed this episode, please leave us a nice review on Apple Podcasts.
But we've been there, done that, and it didn't.
It's going well then. first two words.
In fact, I think that's my first word I spoke out loud, and I didn't get right.